so this is Jason Lewis. Jason, I've known you since you were a much younger estate agent than you are now.
In 2014, I think we first met. So I was a corporate agent back then. But yeah, let's go back, 9 years now, isn't it?
But you've been doing it a long time and you obviously love it.
Yeah, I've come out of sixth form, done it straight from sixth form, and I've moved around a couple of times, but yeah, it's good.
Well, I mean, was this a sort of, I've got to ask these questions because they really interest me. Was this a sort of teenager's decision, I'm going to be an estate agent?
I'll tell you, probably, yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I've always, like when I was at school, we used to watch like Homes Under the Hammer and all that kind of stuff. And at one stage I thought I'll be a postman, because being a postman I'll be able to look at nice houses and all that kind of stuff. And then I was at sixth form and it was all that, what uni you going to and all that kind of stuff, and never appealed to me. So I said, sell some houses instead, and then here we are. So
you never went to uni, you just started work?
No, I've come out of sixth form. To be fair, I probably didn't get the grades to go to uni.
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
but I think we can be proud of you because you decided what you were going to do and you went and did it.
Stuck to it. Yeah, I got an apprenticeship when I come out in the state agency, got all the qualifications, and then 9 years later, here I am.
So here you are at Scott Becket, which is one of the town's leading estate agents. It's a serious, heavy-duty job. Tell me what's happening in Felixstowe's housing market now.
Well, it's an interesting market. It's very tricky to get an understanding of where it is at the minute, because there's a lot of stories in the news about how bad it is and those kind of bits and pieces as well. But you look at it from a Felixstowe perspective, the numbers aren't the same as what they were, but the numbers are still quite good. So like, for example, last year, in January 2022, we had January 28 sales, I think it was. And then January this year, we've done 18. So obviously it's 10 less. But you know, it's still 18, you know, it's still a lot more than what you know, again, being reported about that's going to crash and all those kind of bits and pieces. It's still better than what it could be. So it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. I think
how are prices holding up? Are they going down a bit? Are they rising a bit?
They last year was a crazy year with and the year before with the stamp duty holidays, and there was the supply and demand. So there was a big price hike last year, where we were seeing stuff probably being asked at this level and even selling at that level. And the level that they were asked would have been a higher price anyway, but because of the lack of supply, they went for a much higher price. Since we're coming in towards the end of last year, coming into this year, prices, I would say, have come down ever so slightly, but they are still at a really good price. So, for example, something that was, you know, a great example, we had something that was on the market last year, I think at something like 450. We had it sold. Unfortunately, the sale fell through. It came back on the market at just under 4. So that's a 50 grand reduction. But you know, it's still £400,000, isn't it? Whereas 2 years ago, it's probably going to be like 350 kind of thing. So the craziness has calmed down a bit, and that's sort of been affected in the prices. But you compare our prices to Ipswich, for example, you still get really good amount of money for property. Property here. So
have prices in Ipswich gone down drastically then?
I speak to a few agents in Ipswich, and it's not as good as what it is here. So I think prices have gone down a bit there. But again, I don't really know too much about the Ipswich market.
One question I want to ask, and it's really, I think a lot of people are asking the same thing. What's the effect of all the new houses on the new estates? Have they brought prices down?
From what I've noticed, I mean, new builds are very Marmite. You either love them or you don't. And they were probably one of the main reasons why prices went up in Felixstowe, because they were releasing 2-bedroom houses that were anything from like 270 to 280, where a typical 2-bedroom house on the Morrisons or Cavendish Park or Green at the time were probably around about the 200 mark. They brought those prices up. New builds at the minute, there are so many new builds in the town. There is a lot of interest in them, which has sort of taken it away from these sort of houses. But there was also a lot of people that have still been buying the 80s built houses because they're still better quality than what they're building now in terms of sizes wise and that stuff. So it has had an impact, and I think obviously their prices went up, so everyone else's prices went up. When the new build prices maybe start to come down now from these reductions, you have seen it have an effect on the rest of the market as well. So.
That was an interesting one, because I was wondering, when you think about the new houses, you wonder where people are coming from to buy them. Are we getting an influx of people coming from other areas, or just round the corner, as it were?
Well, Felixstowe is a great employment town. We've got the ports and all that. And they bring people in from Ipswich or other areas of Suffolk and that kind of stuff. We have a lot of people that came out of the cities to come here, albeit London or Essex. A lot of them are coming here because the prices, in Suffolk are cheaper than they are obviously in London and Essex. So we had a huge influx of people coming from those areas to here, 1 for work, 2 to be close to the family, 3 to be away from the busyness. So we had a huge influx of them coming out of the pandemic, or coming out of the first lockdown, and when we were all sort of different tiered systems. Mm-hmm. Quieting down now. But again, that's like the whole market as a whole. But there was a lot of people coming out or coming into Felixstowe, but we also see a huge amount of inter-town movement. So there's a lot of people who first-time buyers who live in Felixstowe, grew up here. A lot of people who upsizing to live in the town here. A lot of people who are downsizing who've lived here for so long and don't want to leave, because obviously it's the best seaside town in the country. So
absolutely. I'll ask you a little sort of sideline question on that. When you look ahead, how do you see it going for the rest of the year? Do you think the business is going to continue at that same kind of level, or is it going to grow back up again?
It's really hard to tell, and it depends. Like for example, no one saw the government's mini budget to be as bad as it was, and that had an effect on the rest of the market.
Right.
So it depends on external sources. And there's a lot of experts in the news that say they know where it's going, but no one really knows where it's going to go. But there will always be reasons why people have to move, and that will always stay in effect no matter where the market is. So I think it should be all right, but who knows?
We go around with our fingers crossed a bit, don't we?
Exactly.
Okay, so let me thank you for that, Jason. That's really kind of you to talk to us. And I'm going to come back and see you kind of once a month and just get a bit of an update on things. If anything exciting happens, let us know.
Will do. Thank you very much.